Joe Page is such a worthy recipient of the Dix Award. Joe began his career in 1975 in Bristol, working with youth at the YMCA and then later at the Sullivan County Juvenile Treatment Center. He joined the staff of Bristol Regional Counseling Center in 1985 and continued his work with children and youth, specializing in the treatment of traumatized adolescents. While at BRCC, Joe quickly rose to a leadership position, taking on the role of Division Director for Children and Youth Services. In 1997, after dedicating over 20 years of his professional life to children's services, Joe was asked to become the Division Director of Adult Mental Health Services for the newly merged entity, Frontier Health. Joe's a great example of how leadership transfers to new challenges. Having left a legacy of excellent children's programs and services in Sullivan and Johnson counties, Joe set about to learn the needs and services for adults with serious and persistent mental illness. Joe very quickly revamped case management services to be more proactive in facilitating independence among the individuals served. He created an excellent continuum of housing services for adults to include independent living and even home ownership. Joe started the very first integration project in our area, Bridging the Gap, a program of collaboration with ETSU family physicians for the geriatric population who were in need of behavioral health services. When the concept of co-occurring treatment was introduced in our state, Joe very quickly understood the need for this initiative. He set about to ensure his staff were adequately trained, and along with Randy Jesse and Kathy Benedetto, enabled Frontier Health to become one of the very first co-occurring enhanced providers in the state. When Joe was promoted to the position of Senior Vice President of Adult Services in 2011, he was once again asked to use his leadership skills to add the Division of Adult Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities to his supervision. Under Joe's leadership, his staff is operating the only respite program for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities in the entire Grand East region. Throughout his career, through all the changes and disruptions in our industry, and all of the threats to the financial stability of community mental health services, Joe has focused on one guiding principle. If you do the right thing by the people who need you, you will survive. Joe has proven the worth of this principle for over 30 years. Joe has made far too many contributions to the region and to the state to list, but in most recent years, he has served as the chair of the Region 1 Planning Council. He was the vice chair of the department's State Policy and Planning Council for 4 years, and in 2015, he was appointed by Governor Haslam to be the chair of the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services statewide Policy and Planning Council. On a personal note, I'm so thankful to have had the opportunity to work closely with Joe since 1997, and let me assure you, you want Joe on your leadership team. Joe can make things happen by inspiring his staff, instilling confidence, by encouraging and empowering them to find the skills and abilities to get it done right. But one of the things I enjoy most about working with Joe is not only that his heart is in the right place, but Joe just doesn't take himself too seriously. From the famous and somewhat cocky Joe Page strut to his wonderful sense of humor and his ability to bring levity and laughter to the table, Joe is just one of those people you love to be around. Dorothea Dix herself would be proud to bestow this award to him. There are so many stories I could tell about Joe Page, but I think I'll just say, thank you, Joe, for your many contributions to the children and adults in Northeast Tennessee and across the state. Congratulations.